And sisters in the Lord, I hope you're all doing well through the grace and mercy of our Lord Jesus Christ. Now, a few days ago, I shared a revelation of a dear sister who was narrating the testimony of her brother, who was actually 10 years old when he received the revelation from the Lord concerning the rapture, and he was taken to heaven and hell to witness certain events. Now, just like I said, I shared the first part of the video, and just recently, the sister has sent in the second part of the video. I know a lot of people have been asking about the part 2 of the video. I know a lot of you are waiting to watch and listen to the second part of it. That is why I have to put this on the channel as soon as possible after praying to the Lord. So I'm just going to allow our dear sister continue on with the message that she had shared in the previous video. This is just a continuation of it. I want you to listen and then pray and seek discernment from God. Most people keep saying, I have to give credit, I have to put her channel name and other stuff like that. It doesn't work like that. I can only do that when the person has authorized me. Do you understand? Once you send in your vision, your video, and you have a channel and you want me to credit it, or you want me to put your name or the name of your channel in the description section of the video or in the comment section, you have to alert me in your email. If you don't, I cannot use my own will to disclose your identity, your name, your channel, or whatever. You understand? So if someone shares their vision or revelation and you want their name, you want their channel, you want any identity of them, I have to consult the person. I have to seek permission. I can't just expose people. I can't just expose someone's information without consulting them. This is why I didn't give credit. If you check other people's video, you notice that I put their channel name and I give credit and other stuff like that. And for the fact that I am not taking their videos willingly, these are people who have contacted me to share their visions, and they are not more interested in gaining credit. What they really want is for their message that the Lord has given them to go out. If you want me to put credit on your video, I can. But if the person doesn't say anything like that, I cannot do anything. So please listen, pray, and seek discernment from God. God bless you, and thank you very much.
Welcome back to the continuation of the vision my brother, who is a 10-year-old boy, had nearly 51 years ago. And this continuation will describe what happens after his family is taken away, is caught away in the rapture, and enters into this waiting place in the throne room of heaven. And here he describes what he sees and the events that take place there. We had the feeling we wanted to see what was happening on Earth. My sister and I and my cousin went back to Earth to see what was going on. We peeked through the clouds and saw a harbor with boats. We saw the Statue of Liberty. It was on an island. It looked like New York because of the tall buildings. Over the city, there was a jet with a pointed nose flying over it. It said Pan Am on the tail. In the harbor coming in, there was a really modern Navy ship. It was gray and it had numbers on it. There was a submarine at the dock. There was a business helicopter, a pretty green one, and it said Krager's Plastics on the side of it. It had several windows on each side, and it had very tall legs under it. It was on the top of a tall building that had the word Union on the side of it. There were birds, and it was smoggy. We went back to the waiting place. God was sitting on a gold throne now, and the banners were gone. He's wearing a gold cross on a chain around his neck. His sleeves are trimmed with gold, and the jewels in his crown are set in gold now. There are gold torches on each side of the throne with a bowl on top, and there were 7 tubes or pipe things that held fire. There was two small olive trees with olives on them on each side of the throne. There was lots of pretty colors behind the throne, mostly yellow and green. God then stood up. His cape reached his wrists in the front and to the floor in the back. Then he took off his crown, he put it on the seat of the throne, and an angel handed him a new crown. This one was all white with no markings or designs on it. It looked like a pope's hat. God put it on himself, then he put his arms up and said, You can rejoice now. I am the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. The people cheered, and my sister, my cousin, and I, we wound our robes around our legs, jumped in the air, and let our gowns go and come down like parachutes and when they filled with air. And then God climbed into a large box. The box was suspended on poles, and it was all gold with a crown thing on the top. And it had golden angels on each end, and their wings met in the center and held up a crown. It held up the crown. The golden poles stuck out on each end. It must have weighed tons. It was about 6 feet long. There were curtains all around on the inside. They were pulled back on the sides, and they looked as if they were made of heavy red material with designs on it. Inside was a seat and a footstool upholstered with red velvet and gold buttons. It was trimmed with diamonds, even on the poles. The gold angels had diamonds in their eyes, and they were about 1 inch in diameter. It was carried around by 4 angels. The biggest diamonds were on the front and one on the back. Following behind him were 2 men. Each had a golden chariot drawn by white horses, and they were all dressed in white. Then we were rejoicing. We could go through each other and dance inside of each other. We could go back to Earth to see if we wanted to and still be in the waiting place. In another room we went to have a meal. The tables were as far as I could see and 10 feet wide. They were very low, so we could sit on cushions to eat. The floor was like white glass. We said grace first, and then bread and wine was passed down to us, and we broke off a piece of the loaf of the bread and we passed it on. Then we all started eating. Some of the people were wearing crowns of gold and red velvet on top with gold crosses on the top, and that there was jewels all around the bottom of them. Men and women and children are all wearing these, but none at our table in our family. There are small or silver crowns that only some men are wearing. Women or children aren't wearing them. Some have 2 jewels and some have 1. My dad is wearing one with 2 jewels, and so are all his brothers. There are white tablecloths with knots on the corners. My cousin untied one of them, wondering what it was for. We knew everyone we were sitting with, and it was a long meal. There was strange-looking silverware. They all had crosses on the ends, and there was about 4 kinds of knives, and some were very sharp. There was about 3 different spoons and about 6 different forks at each place setting. One fork had only 2 prongs on it, and my cousin told me it was for the oysters. There was lots of salad dressings. One looked like Thousand Island, and it was when I tasted it. There was white calla lilies on the table with fern leaves. My cousin said, "Yum, yum, pork chops." There was ham, and my dad had turkey drumstick. There was roast beef and some steak. There was chicken and mushrooms and green peppers stuffed in a sauce to put on rice. The food was solid, even though our bodies weren't. But we could taste our food. Everyone was passing around bowls of vegetables and salads and green salad. It was a green salad that had lettuce, tomatoes, avocados, and green onions in it. There was a fruit salad that had apples, pears, peaches with the fuzz still on it, pineapple and real fresh cherries, but without the stems, nectarines, strawberries, and bananas and walnuts in it, but there was no marshmallows. There were bowls of whole fruit, and they were big and perfect. I remember nectarines, navel oranges, pears, pomegranates, tangerines, apples, and bananas in smaller bowls. There was bowls of green mints. Some had chocolates. There was onion rings in beet juice and vinegar. Grandma had some of that. There was cherry tomatoes in a bowl and another of cut-up tomatoes and avocados. There were bowls of shelled mixed nuts and bowls of unshelled nuts. There were all kinds of breads egg breads, flatbreads, hard rolls. Some had cuts across the top. Some had sesame seeds. Some had little dark seeds. There was garlic butter in wooden bowls. And there was raw vegetables, string beans, radishes, carrots. And there was platters of hamburgers. And there was casseroles of green beans and mushrooms, scalloped potatoes. And there was something that looked like lasagna, but I couldn't be sure because I couldn't taste everything. There was stuffed peppers, spaghetti, meatballs, rice pudding, chocolate pudding, vanilla tapioca puddings. There was all kinds of pies: blueberry, strawberry, lemon meringue, pumpkin, cherry, mincemeat, and cheesecakes. There was all kinds of cakes. There was chicken noodle soup with skinny long noodles, not like the stuff in a can. There was rice tomato soup. There was all kinds of things to drink. And we drank out of cut glass goblets. There was several different sizes at each place. And the babies had bottles. One of the babies dropped one on the floor, but it didn't break. In glass pitchers, there was orange soda, root beer, milk, orange juice with lots of pulp in it, like fresh squeezed. There was shakes and malts and chocolate milk. There was punch, even buttermilk. There was all sorts of wines: amber, red, yellow, gold, purple, pink, and white. There was also pictures of beer. There was people from all different countries. Some had afros, lots of Mexican people, and lots of Chinese. What I liked best was this red syrupy stuff in a bowl. I put some on the fruit salad at first because it tasted like honey, but afterwards I just ate the whole bowl by itself until there was no more left. Now, this is where I'm going to end part 2. And part 3, he will go on to describe how he looks over a cloud on the world below and sees what's happening. And this is actually confronting. He sees parts of the tribulation in the world and what's happening there. You want to stay tuned for part 3 and this beautiful vision. Thank you so much.
جماعة مين خد السفنات بتاعتي؟
تيجي تفتشنا؟
حروني